Right, now I've done one door. That was about 4 hours, believe it or not. What a bugger of a thing to work out and how to, and hated it. But now I've done it, I've got a good gist on how to do it. It's just was a lot of learning to try, and even with the spare door sitting there, it was a lot of learning just to work shit out with all the angles and the locks and the mechanisms and all that. It was, the window wasn't easy. The lock mechanism was a pain in the butt to work out. So anyway, I thought I'd just give you a few hints. So the lock, this thing here is a pain. All right, so the only way I got to get that in, you got to bend the rod into the downwards and then spin it so it sits like that. So what you got to sort of do, that's what I found. I mean, there may be a better way. Is you just rough that main gear like this stuff. You just rough it in there so it's in there, sort of, and then put the bolt in there. So then what I did is I just set up the first one here, which was the door setup, which is pretty straightforward. If you have a look at the old door, you'll see that's the opening section, opening, and it just turns into place. So that one's quite straightforward, and there's the one coming down. It only goes one way, so that one's actually quite easy. So the locking mechanism, once you just keep it in how it was the old way when you take it out. So what I had to do was to actually position this, so this was actually way down in here, sitting way down in here, and it was all skew-if. So then I bent the rod downwards into the door that way, like that way, and then got that so it was 90 degrees. So it turned that way, and then it fitted into the holes under force. And then what you had to do is then once it was through the two holes, meaning that way through the two holes, you just work it around, and then it fits like that nicely. And make sure the lock comes out through the hole. And then you just put that, which is the little holder for the rail, you just push that through and it sits there like that. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't actually bend it, or because it's all tension, it's high tensile sort of steel stuff. So it's got flexibility in it, plenty of flexibility, and once you put that in there, it's perfect. So once you've done that, then one of the hardest things that I struggled with, I mean, it could be because it is what it is, was this prick. This is the door opening setup. It is a prick of a thing. It took me bloody an hour of ginning around to try and work this thing out, how it all went. So this is back door, by the way, back door. So basically, if you look at that, that's how it goes. So the top one comes from the mechanism, the bottom one goes to the door lock. So mechanism on the front edge, door on that, and make sure it goes that way. So that sits on that metal piece, which I don't know where I'll put it. It's in there somewhere. Oh no, it's attached, sorry. See, the metal piece is actually attached. It was attached. So anyway, that sits like that. You can see it's obvious. And then that sits up in there. So the thing is, that was a prick. I just couldn't work out the angles on that. So anyway, that's how it goes. So then you'll see there's a little bit of room here. See how it gives you a little bit of room, and then that is the door. That's what attaches to the door handle itself. So I stupidly painted two doors the same. I didn't actually realize until it's too late. So I've had to paint a new door handle. So, which is stupid of me, but anyway, that's life. So then you just put the door handle onto that bit, and it fits there nicely. You can tape off around here to stop you scratching it. And then you basically got to maneuver the handle by pulling the handle upwards, meaning as if you're opening the door, and then feed it through the hole. It just takes mucking around to get through the hole, and then once it's through, then you can get to the first screw, that one, quite easy with your hand. The second one, the only way I could do it, maybe use my big buffhead hands, was to actually go straight down the hole with a magnet thing with a screw on the end. I don't know wherever that thing's gone. Anyway, the magnet tool, you know, the normal, there it is, yeah, the normal magnet tool with a screw on the end, and I just plonked it down the hole and away she went. It was fine once I got it in there, and just left the door handle a little bit loose so that you could actually get to the screw hole and screw it in from the top side, meaning this side. Pain in the ass job, really is a prick of a job. Others may know a better way, but yeah, so look, at the end of the day, that's what happened. And then you just mount this thing here up into the mechanism there, which only goes one way. So then yeah, that's what it was. It took me ages, don't get me wrong, it took me freaking ages. So there, then I'll just continue with the next phase once I get the next bit done. Right, just to finish the last bit of the locking bits, this one here, just make sure the linkage from the locking mechanism is on the one closest to the bottom down here. So when you look at it, the mechanism, so basically the whole mechanism sits like that. So the linkage goes to that one there. And the other linkage goes on the top section. That's sort of like a swing arm pendulum thing. So these are easy. You've got the little the little lever, not the lever, but the little arm. Easy, just slide them in. It slides into a groove on the back and then a bolt on the front. It's a piece of piss. So winding mechanisms, pretty straightforward. So if you've got the replacement rivets, I think some kits they sell them with them, use them. I just use bolts. So you just got to put the two bottom bolts in first, because once you put the winder in, you can't actually access the bottom of these bolts. The top two are easy. The top two bolts are easy. So that whole mechanism just goes in. So then you put this bit in here. So you just slide it into the arm there. You can see which one it is. It's pretty obvious. And then you slide it in, and then you just put the two bolts up. This one here, you just use it either on the top. On the top, you can put it through. It's just falling off. See. Put it through, or you can do it on the bottom, which is what I did. It gave me a little bit more room, so you can see the bottom one there. So make sure you service them and grease them and all that stuff. Hey, make sure you put plenty of grease on them. I like to use a white marine grease. It's just cleaner, easier to use. So yeah, the bottom one, you just go up. I just went upwards, put on that side, and then fed it through, and then put it on that side. It's easy to do. So yeah, that's about it. Just make sure you get the bolts the right length, otherwise they're a nuisance. And yeah, greasy, yucky. It's always greasy. It's full of fish oil. It's just, that's the biggest pain out of the whole job, is everything is greasy, everything is oily. So, but it's a necessity. I'm not putting that crap in with windows in there and locking. I don't want fish oil over any of this stuff, anything that moves. So yeah, other than that, it's all good. Everything else is in. So that's locking mechanisms and window winder done. So I'm going to start putting in the upright here, which is this thing there, that thing there, and then yeah, put the back window in. That's next, as you do the upright, and away you go, and bolt them, and then start doing the Bailey channel. So I'll go through that shortly. But my day's done today. I'll do it again tomorrow. But I'll put it all on one video. I'll do my smashy video editing. Skill, right?